What's up, y'all? Today we're going to go over 3 different ways we can add texture to your productions. And I'm not just talking about adding like some ambient noise or like vinyl crackle or something like that. I'm talking about adding harmonic texture, things that will tickle the ear of your listener. These kind of textures will help give you a clue as to where to sing and just overall make things feel a little bit more atmospheric and interesting. So first we have this idea of layering pitch quantization. Now, what is pitch quantization? Say you have a bunch of different random tones being played. They don't necessarily fit in a scale. Well, you can do something like auto-tune those pitches into a scale. And that is a good basis for creating a texture. So this idea sounds something kind of like this. Or something like this. Cool, so I did both of those examples on my Prophet. I just played a single note and then assigned a random LFO to that tone. But I'll show you how to do that in Ableton. These concepts will apply towards any DAW. So I have just my basic sine keys. You can literally hit Control F and search for that. Sine keys. Just drag it in. Mine's already here, but now we have to wait because I did it anyways. Okay, so we've got this basic sine key just playing a C. Sweet. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in a shifter. I'll do it from scratch just so you guys can get a sense for how to do it. So let's bring the amount up to about an octave, so around 12 semitones. And then let's change it from a triangle to random sample and hold. So now we have these random tones. Then all you have to do is just add auto-tune, whichever version you have, and then just have a pretty short retune speed and just select your key, whatever key you're in. So now it's all in the key of C major. And what is super crazy cool about this idea is, say we duplicate it, and pan one hard right, change the rate a little bit, duplicate it again, pan this one hard left, change the rate again. We're gonna start getting some crazy results. It's kind of like this musical noise, like it's still all in a key. So I'm gonna group these by hitting Control G or Command G, whatever. I don't know if you're on a Mac, like whatever. And I'm gonna EQ out some of the low end, add in my favorite reverb, and honestly just a little bit, it should go a long way. So I'm just going to do like 24% is technically a lot of reverb still, but whatever. I'm just going to decrease the size and decrease the decay a good amount. Now we'll get something like this. Okay, so let's hear that in context. Got a little bit of texture going on, and now I'm going to play some chords over top of that. So like without that, it's not going to be nearly as interesting. Nothing happening, boring. With tickling the ear. Cool. So that's kind of like the first example, and it also kind of explains the why. Like, why would we do this? It just gives your ear something to latch on to, even if there's no harmonic or melodic content from the other main parts happening. Okay, so the second example we're going to go over is kind of like breaking your monophonic effects. Some effects only expect to get one note at a time, and the second you start adding multiple notes, it's like, well, which note is it? Auto-tune is like this a lot of the times, and also a very popular plugin, Little Alter Boy, expects a monophonic one-note signal. So when you start playing chords through things like Little Alter Boy, you get some crazy results. So without further ado, let's go ahead and break it into that. So this example is going to sound something like this. All right, and it can sound even more nutso than that. So we've got our sine keys just playing a C major. I'm going to go ahead and turn on Little Altar Boy. It's set to fully dry right now, so by default. So just hearing what it sounds like wet, just playing a chord through it with no pitch shifting, it's already going to be a little different, so pay attention. And if I play different chords through it, like, you'll just hear the different weird qualities we get. And if you play a triad, it can usually figure it out, but if you play some weird chord, like, versus, just gotta make it a little bit more atonal. So let's go ahead and bring down the pitch, and then I'm gonna octave up what I'm playing. Crazy. Like some real Spirit of the Beehive, Godspeed You Black Emperor. Listen to all that weird messed up movement we're getting. Sounds pretty freaking cool. All right, so lastly, I think an honorable mention, not the like coolest, craziest technique, is just creative uses of arpeggio and delay to create a sense of texture. I got a burp, dude. Taco Bell. Yeah, I have no self-respect. I ate Taco Bell before this. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna take this Kaelin Ellis piano, and it's important that you have an attack control for this technique. All right, so first thing we wanna do is just like have our chord being played. Like, I think it's important to note with all of these actually, if you're gonna pick a chord, it should be the one chord of whatever key you're in. So like the tonic, the one chord. If you don't know what that is, just look it up. So I'm gonna go ahead and add an arpeggiator. And I think for the sake of texture, let's go ahead and not have it sync to a BPM. That's too fast. All right, we're gonna slow it down a little bit. And this is like just too crazy, but the second you add a delay to it, particularly a longer delay, like quarter note or longer. All right, that's gonna go on forever, but I'm gonna add an LFO. All right, we're gonna hit map, and then we're gonna grab this. Oh yeah, sweet. Now you might ask why I'm adding an LFO here. The reason I'm adding an LFO is so that the rate of the arpeggiator and the rate of the delay don't match up and create the stasis point. If you have an LFO on the rate of the arpeggiator, it's going to create just enough more randomness that it's going to feel more like a texture than like a predictable thing. And that's the key with the texture, that it's not predictable. So now I think the last step is just to make the release really long and the attack really long as well. So when I play my chords, sweet, well, whenever this delay shuts up, I guess I'll just go ahead and end the video.